Hi, we're going to take the many different Mandela effects we see in the world and organize them by meaning. The changes made to our world have some common threads running through them, and recognizing these themes will help us see how it all fits together. The messages and meanings in this group of Mandela effects turn up less often than others, and I have included some meanings here that I have only seen once. The wow signal. Astronomers once detected an unusually strong, though brief, signal coming from outer space. One of the astronomers wrote "wow" on the printout that recorded this surprising signal. Word of this incident spread, and it became known as the wow signal. There is now a Mandela effect that some are experiencing concerning which part of outer space this signal came from. The reason the Mandela effect changed this historical fact was to say to us, something impossible is happening in the world. Wow! Shazam. Some people remember watching a movie called Shazam starring Sinbad, but there is no such movie in existence. The Mandela Effect created a hotly disputed point of contention when it made this movie disappear. So why did this happen? What is the Mandela Effect trying to tell us? It's easy to see when you realize there's a different Mandela Effect with the exact same meaning. Jim Nabors was a famous television actor. Like the South African leader for whom the Mandela Effect is named, Jim Nabors is believed by some to have died once already, before his documented death. Jim Nabors played the main character in a TV show called Gomer Pyle, USMC. Gomer Pyle was known for saying, "Gosh," "golly," and especially "Shazam." He used the exclamation of Shazam in a way that is synonymous with the term wow. Because of this, we can say that the meaning of the Jim Nabors Mandela Effect and the one for the Sinbad movie Shazam is wow. That's the reaction one should have when they see what the Mandela Effect can do. Singing in the Rain. This timeless musical movie is now called Singin' in the Rain. Why? The part that went missing is the message. The title of this movie lost the letter G, and the meaning of this is G. Lazy Boy. Lazy Boy is the new name of this famous brand of chairs. How exactly does one pronounce this new name? It really doesn't remind me of the word lazy, but that's no surprise. The Mandela Effect took out the letter Y. The meaning of this one is simply, why? This is definitely what I started asking myself after experiencing the Mandela Effect, that's for sure. The balcony scene in Romeo and Juliet. This is the most famous scene from the most famous play of all time. People believe this scene is set on a balcony, but there is no balcony in this play. If you read it, you will see that Juliet appears in a window. This sounds like a Mandela Effect to me, and you know what? The most famous line in Romeo and Juliet can be heard in The Wizard of Oz. You're hearing a lot about The Wizard of Oz, aren't you? The Tin Man sings, "Picture me, a balcony. Above, a voice sings low." That's when we hear a voice say, "Wherefore art thou, Romeo?" The word wherefore is often misunderstood, but it means why. And this is why the Mandela Effect changed this part of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. It means why. OxyClean. The name of this laundry cleaning product used to be spelled OxyClean, but is now Oxy with an I. Basically, the letter Y disappeared, and the letter I appeared in its place. The Y was removed to say to us, why? American Gothic. This iconic and extensively imitated painting was changed by the Mandela Effect. It is the one with the old couple standing in front of a house. The woman in this piece was painted to look as if her gaze is fixed on you, the viewer. This is what changed. She is now looking off to her left. What is she looking at? Maybe she just noticed the male gender symbol on a Volvo. I don't know, but the meaning of this Mandela Effect is look. Sunflowers. There is a very interesting pattern you can see on sunflowers now, and some people think this pattern was put there by the Mandela Effect. Why did this happen? Why sunflowers? You have to look at what makes them unique. When sunflowers are young, they track the sun as it crosses the sky each day, keeping their face pointed at it. They always look at the sun, and the Mandela Effect is telling us to be like them and always look. Cool cigarettes. Here's a good example of what I call reverse engineering the Mandela Effect. While writing the entry right before this one, the one about sunflowers, I noticed something. Taking the meaning of the sunflower's Mandela effect, which is look, and spelling it backwards gives you cool. I wondered, were cool cigarettes changed by the Mandela effect? I looked it up, and there was already a video about it by the world's most reliable Mandelian, Moneybag73. Watching the video on YouTube, it was easy to see that this logo is different than I remember. I did a little research and found a cool print ad from 1940 that has this new logo we now see. There is no way. This logo changed, and I know why. It means look. Rodin's The Thinker. The statue The Thinker changed so that the subject has his hand on his chin and not his forehead. The meaning is, think. 9/11 changes. The damage done on 9/11 to the Pentagon and to the World Trade Center Marriott looks different than what was seen in 2001. Remember 9/11 is a well-known expression, and this is where we find the meaning of the various 9/11 Mandela effects. This is particularly evident with regard to the Pentagon's Mandela effect. Originally, no Pentagon staffers were killed, but now their names are part of a memorial. The main purpose of a memorial is to remember. The Mandela effect is saying to us, remember. It means we need to remember how things in our world used to be. We need to recognize the fact that things are changing in impossible ways, but that is not the only reason the Mandela effect is changing the events of 9/11. This tragic day has great significance in the grand scheme of the Mandela effect. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The line "Mirror, mirror on the wall" became "Magic mirror on the wall." Magic was added because we are being told we can do magic. That's what we saw in The Wizard of Oz and The Matrix. I don't know how to do magic, but maybe it involves mirrors. Side view mirrors. The side view mirrors on automobiles have changed. There is no longer an air of uncertainty there with it saying, objects in mirror may be closer than they appear. The Mandela effect wants us to know these objects are closer than they appear. This one is still pretty perplexing, but the Snow White Mandela effect makes me think it could have something to do with magic. Is there something we are supposed to see in the mirror, and it is closer than it appears? Ruby Tuesdays. The possessive S has gone missing from the name of this long-running restaurant chain. The meaning here is that Ruby Tuesday restaurants don't belong to Ruby Tuesday. Everything belongs to our higher being. Bragg's apple cider vinegar. People remember this product's name having a possessive S on the end of it, but the Mandela effect changed that. It is no longer named as if it belongs to Bragg. It simply says, Bragg. Advanced Auto Parts. This company named itself Advanced, but our higher being thought up a more appropriate name when he changed it to Advance. Instead of thinking of ourselves as advanced, we actually need to advance. That is what this one means. The Union Jack. The UK flag, also known as the Union Jack, has been changed by the Mandela effect. The 4 diagonal red lines on the flag are askew. They rotated counterclockwise ever so slightly. What does this mean? This flag is the flag of Great Britain. It is as if a hand reached out and grasped this part of the flag. It rotated it as if turning down a volume control. This is like saying, not so great, Britain. Don't be so proud. Turning a screw counterclockwise brings it out and diminishes the presence of the screw. This is the meaning of this change. Rosie the Riveter. Rosie the Riveter is a woman who was drawn for a famous World War II propaganda poster. The slogan on the poster is, "We can do it." Rosie was changed from having a confident, smiling facial expression to looking somewhat sour and stern. The meaning here is that we shouldn't be cocky and gung-ho for war. Hollywood Walk of Fame. I remember seeing the Hollywood Walk of Fame on television. Do you? You become a huge star and you get a gold star on the sidewalk in Hollywood, right? Did you know the stars are actually pink? That's not the color I expected to see when I researched this one. All the same, I can see the meaning here. It is a bit like C-3PO's silver leg. This one means that we are not the stars we think we are. We are not as golden and wonderful as we tend to believe. Changed line in Scary Movie. The line in Scary Movie changed from "I see white people" to "I see dead people." It is now just like the line it is making fun of in The Sixth Sense. "I see white people" is a funny joke based on the racial tensions between black people and white people. Hate is wrong, and our world has to get past such enmity. This is why this joke was deleted by the Mandela Effect. The Hippocratic Oath. This famous oath, taken by medical doctors, used to say, "First, do no harm." This line has been removed by the Mandela Effect, but it is a message to us. We are being told to do no harm, and it matches up with a lot of what the Mandela Effect is telling us. Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite's famous sign-off has changed. He used to say, "And that's the way it was." He now says, "And that's the way it is." It sounds like someone telling you about the Mandela Effect, doesn't it? I have told you a lot about the way it was, and the way it is, haven't I? Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Sharon is a true Harry Potter fan, and I have watched every movie in the series with her. She has all of the movies and all of the books. She discovered the following Mandela Effect and shared it with me. The movie Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire is missing the scene I am about to describe to you. While students from other schools are visiting Hogwarts, there is a big Yule Ball with many in attendance. During this part of the movie, we see Severus Snape, who's my favorite character, outside the ball. He kicks something over and speaks with Igor Karkaroff. Everything around them is snow-covered, and Karkaroff is expressing his concern that something is happening, and he seems worried. Snape tells him to flee. Snape says to him, "I will make your excuses." Snape sees some students making out in a carriage and informs them that he will be taking 10 points away from each of their houses. When Sharon brought this to my attention, she showed me the place in the book where the Yule Ball takes place. When I read it, I came across the line, "I will make your excuses," and I remembered this scene from the movie instantly. I had never read the book, but I remember hearing this line spoken in the movie and thinking what an unusual phrase it is. Sharon has seen these Harry Potter movies many, many times, but only read the book from which this movie was adapted once. She distinctly remembers wondering why carriages were shown outside the ball when most of those in attendance would have already been there at Hogwarts. Her memory of this missing scene is detailed, and even for me, it is a solid memory. I remember seeing this scene, but you will no longer find it. It is gone. Before anyone attributes this Mandela Effect to confusion and possible edits to the movie, I would like to point out that Sharon's personally owned DVD is the only copy of this movie I had ever seen. Karkaroff's missing comment that "something is happening" is actually the meaning of this change. Indeed, something is happening. Sally Field's Oscar acceptance speech. The words "right now" were added to this acceptance speech because the Mandela Effect is happening right now, and we should be aware of that. E.T. There is an interesting Mandela Effect in the movie E.T. E.T. points to the little boy's head and says, "I'll be right here." E.T. used to point to his chest. This is the higher being saying that he is in our heads. It's a good point, too. Nothing is private from him. The Capitol Building. That statue atop the Capitol Building is new for sure. Its name is freedom. As artificial beings in a simulation, our freedom is highly questionable. That is why this Mandela Effect is saying to us, freedom? The Statue of Liberty. There have been multiple Mandela Effects for Lady Liberty. Since we are artificial intelligence occupying a world that belongs to our higher being, where is liberty? Liberty is a very unlikely scenario for us. That is why this Mandela Effect is saying to us, liberty? Clue. The logo on the retro edition of the Clue board game changed. Similarly, the movie Clueless saw its cover art change. I think the meaning here is easy to see. I never knew how clueless I was until I saw the Pentagon 9/11 Mandela Effect. Then I knew. Changed line in Apollo 13. The famous line from Apollo 13, "Houston, we have a problem," is a Mandela Effect flip-flop. It changed and then changed back to the way it had always been. The meaning of this one is very straightforward. We have a problem. Bird, you're nice, but you're too loud.